Let me get this camera on. I think it's far enough back. Yep. Now I'm going to, well, first of all, I need to get the speed of the lathe up. I forgot to do that. Let's get the speed of the lathe up. I've got everything locked down now. Let me just double check. I've got the tailstock in, locked. Tool rest in. All right, everything's locked. So I'm going to start it at a slow speed and ramp it up, and I'm going to feel the lathe and see if I get any vibration. I should not at this point because I did a good job of balancing it. So now I'm up to 1500, maybe 1600 RPM, something like that. Okay, very stable. Okay, I can live with that. That's good. Pretty fast. Okay. Now let me get the other camera on here just for fun. I'm going to show, I think that's in the right place. Always wear your face shield. I'm going to anchor bevel cut. Anchor the tool down to the tool rest. I'm going to put my hand on the tool rest so I have positioning control. And just for fun here, I'm just going to use my fingertips. And it doesn't get much harder than this with those corners flying around there, is it? Alright, we're just going to make some cuts. Okay, why do I do it with my fingertips? Because this is easy, it's effortless. It's a finesse thing, not a strength thing. So, my hand on the tool rest, the bevel is going to give us direction and stability so I can't get a catch. So I'm going to point the sharp edge towards the side grain of the tree, and it's always easier to go into the side grain than it is the end grain, so I'm not going to go back and forth across the tool rest. That would be end to end grain. I'm going to go straight in and make plunge cuts, push cuts right into the side of the tree. And then when there's just three corners out here, I just kind of got to go a little bit slow so it doesn't bounce. And then I can pick up some speed as I get in. All I'm doing is pushing with my thumb away from me. Can do overhand grip if you want to, same thing. Okay, now let's see what happened. Okay, I got some corners off, some cool color. If I was doing a bigger vessel, I'd want to take advantage maybe of this color contrast. That's really cool. Okay, nothing dangerous. I don't see any cracks, anything that I need to be concerned about. So let's get it down a little bit more. I got quite a ways to go with those triangular shaped. Usually I end up with a square shape to begin with instead of triangle, but doesn't matter. It's easy to get this wood away. So let's go a little bit deeper again. And now because it's so easy, let's look at taking bigger cuts. I don't know if, let me see if this camera's far enough away. See the shavings? I'm not sure you can see them very, yeah, I don't see them very well there, but I'm kind of throwing the shavings right at the camera, but okay, let's go back to here, see what we got. Now I'm starting to see more of the grain character. Ooh, really pretty. There's one of my little woodpecker holes. Alright, Nothing I'm concerned about. I don't see anything that, no cracks or damage in here. So now let's look at, really won't be able to see this very well, but I'll move the camera down on the other end where you can see it. I'm going to clean up the ends. The ends are going to be important. We wasted away some of this wood so that we have a fresh cut on the end with no cracks in it. I did notice something I'm doing here. I'm going very slowly. Slow cut there, fast speed of the lathe, slow pace. Gets a nice clean surface behind. I want a clean surface behind so that I can see what's going on in here. I'm going to take one of Cindy's little lights and I get a good light on. Ooh, another woodpecker. There's lots of them in here. All right, the pith is gone, and especially around the edges where you would see some, around the bark where you would see some cracks, there's no cracks. This elm is rather porous grain. It's not quite as porous as oak, but maybe a little more porous than walnut. But it's beautiful grain color. Okay, nothing happening here. I'm still safe. If I find cracks or anything, that's going to be firewood.
Lyle,
yes, please.
How dry is that piece?
Very wet.
Okay, it looks like it. Yeah.
My shirt's wet. This was cut down just a couple months ago, but it's been stored in a big tree length so that it stayed wet, and so it's pretty wet. Yeah, you can see the moisture in it. Okay, let me move the camera over here. Sorry to move it while it's on, but I want you to be able to see this. There we go. All right, now I'm going to make another cut on this end. Clean this up so that I can see what's going on this end. Slow pace. All right, again, taking a good close look with a good strong light. Oh, everything is great. No cracks, no pith. Pith is gone. All right. Let's see how I did with my straight edge here. My light cord is tangled. There we go. Oh, I got a little bit more than what I need, maybe. Okay. Can we see in there how I've got a little taper down into the middle? I'm going to sit my faceplate on the outside, and I need a shallow taper on the inside to make sure that I don't have a hump in the middle. I'm going to use a faceplate instead of a chuck, and I want to make sure that that faceplate seats around the rim and I don't have a hump in the middle that can cause vibration, right? So I have this concave a little bit. It's not concave, it's a flat cone shape, but it's a little bit more than what I need, so I'm going to flatten that off just a little bit. Now I'm going to get this nub in the middle down. Whatever's left over here, have to chisel that off, so make that relatively small there. All right, now let's see. Much better, very shallow little concave there. Okay. Now, let's talk about a second. Why am I going to use a faceplate? For a small little thing like a Christmas ornament like this, I could probably use a chuck, but I never use chucks. Chucks are a weak link. I don't want to have to deal with the limits of a chuck. I can do things faster, stronger, bigger, taller, everything better with a faceplate. So why should I use a chuck? okay? Because that's what we were taught. All of our production turners that we learned from over all these years for decades now have been using chucks, and we learned how to use them, and that's the norm. Well, I don't want to have that weak link. Something bad can happen with a chuck. It can come off and go flying across the room. It can come off axis, and I got to stop, and I got to try to put it back on axis again after I bump it or something. I've got to use the tailstocks in the way because I'm afraid. Is fear a good thing? No. Okay. I don't want to be afraid that something bad's going to happen just because I'm going to use a chuck. I can take the tailstock away. I can have confidence that nothing can come off the lathe. So I want to use that stability, that safety, that security on everything that I do. Especially on hollow forms, and this is what this Christmas ornament is just a small hollow form, like a lidded box or a goblet or anything else that I would do that are small enough that a chuck would be okay. It's usually the larger things that a chuck's going to fail us on, and it's not that a chuck fails. It's that we're grabbing a sponge, we're compressing the fibers, and that allows vibration issues, and vibration's a no-no, and I want the security of a faceplate.